So this is a follow-up video to my first, my introduction to the VLOOKUP function. A couple of things that people noticed. Let's start off with column index number. So these things we covered in the first video, and then here I'm just going to check this column index number, which is one of the arguments in the VLOOKUP function. Clarify it. So let's just go into one of these cells. Let's go into this one. And when we click in here, it shows us VLOOKUP, first argument or first parameter, second, third, and fourth. Square brackets means it's optional, but we want to use this one when it's exact match. So column index, actually if you click these, it highlights what's above, which is quite useful. So click on this one. It says H5. Now, of course, I said earlier, I wrote on the screen 1. This is our column D is the first column with our data. E is 2, F is 3, and G is 4. So I had typed in a number. So if we want to get population, which is 1, 2, 3, we type in a 3. So all this column index number needs is a number. Whether the number is from typing it in the cell, or you could refer to a number that's in a cell down here. So let's just hit enter, and it's the same thing. We've got a 3 written in here, or H5 is referring to the 3 down there. It's just personal preference. Most people actually just type it in. So let's just drag this down. It's not going to change anything. And over here, let's just make sure this is consistent. So we need to put a 3 in here. Press enter. Over here it's a 2. If we wanted to change this, right? Highlight this, just enter in a 2, meaning that our answer comes from, to find the country for Toronto, it comes in the second column, column E. Now, Toronto is not found, so it simply says NA, cannot find it. Drag that down. This does not change. And once again here, it's currently referring to, I click in here and it's referring to the 4 in that cell. So if I just highlight this, type in a 4, press enter, it's not going to change anything. Still can't find Toronto. But if I drag this down, it can find Barcelona. It returns it returns the comments because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's our 4. Same thing for Paris. Returns the 4. So that takes care of this one. The next thing is the table array. It's very tedious. Is there any other way? Well, there's another way. 2 different options. We can make a named range, or we can change this range of data into a table. Let's try the first one. So I'm going to make a named range out of this. And what is that? Well, a name range, I'll cover this in another video, but basically you can give a name to a cell or to a range of cells. Let's try this out. We highlight our data. I'm just going to press Control-Shift down. I'm a little bit lazy. Here is our data range, right? This is our table array for the VLOOKUP. Table array, the second argument. So I highlight this whole area, and I can just go up in here and type in, let's just call this city range. Like that. I type it in. There's no spaces, no special characters. I press the enter key, and there we go. So now this is defined. I'll click an empty cell. If I click the drop down, here it is. So I had another one called large value that's somewhere else in this workbook. But here is city range. So watch what happens here. Click on this, and it selects that range. So we could also come in here and change this whole long thing. I'm just going to I don't want to have to highlight this. It's too late at night for me. So I'm going to click on table array. I'm going to press delete. And I could either type it in, or if I forget, I could press the F3 key in the keyboard. There it is. Look at that. So I've got 3 named ranges. I've got city range, large value, and test. Well, I obviously want this one. So I press the OK button. And we see that's in there now, our named range. That's now our table array, and I press the enter key. It works just fine. We still can't find Toronto because it's just not there. So I will drag this down. And there we go. Now, what if, so now we're using this named range here. Instead of using a reference by typing this in or by selecting it. So what if your next question is, okay, well, I want to add Toronto. I just type it in here. And we'll say Canada. And let's just say the population is 5 million, just to guess. And I'm just going to press the Format Painter and then press this cell. So it's the consistent formatting. Well, what if we want to change it so that we can find Toronto now? Because it's kind of a silly thing, right? We've got this named range. We can't find it. Well, okay, that's possible to do. We have to go up here to Formulas, Name Manager, find City Range. Okay, so we got these different name ranges. City range. I'm just going to change this. See how here it defines our city range, and I'm going to say it now, and see how it ends right there in row 38. I'm going to say it ends in row. I'm going to go backspace, type in a 9, press the green check mark, and look what happens. Okay, so now instantly it finds it. So now our city range goes down one more row to row 39, and now it can find Toronto. It's not case sensitive. In this case, it is the same spelling, but I could change that by typing in all capital letters, and it still finds it no problem, because we changed the definition of the named range. So now we're combining things. It's the VLOOKUP function. We're using a named range to tell Excel what that range of data is. But what would happen if, so we'll just drag this down. What if we put in another city? Let's just call it Hamilton. That's also in Canada. And I'm not sure, let's just say the population is 700,000. Once again, I'm going to click up here, Home, Format Painter, click this cell. We have the same formatting. So, do we have to go back in here and change that every time? Well, there is another option. We could, let's just now go in here and let's just delete, do some cleanup. Formulas, Name Manager, let's delete that. And let's delete these as well. These are just reference errors. They're not helping us at all. Delete that one. And I'll click on Close. So now, all of a sudden, this is an error because I deleted the city range named range. It no longer exists. It doesn't exist in here because I went to Formulas, Name Manager, and I deleted it. It doesn't exist anymore. But we could try one other thing. Let's highlight this range. This is the, where is it here? This is the table. So right in here, we're going to create a table. Okay. We highlight our range, Control Shift down, or just select this range any way you'd like. Now we're going to say Insert, Table, okay? And my table has headers, that's true. The first row in this selection that we have has city, country, population, and comments. I press the OK button, and now it's formatted this as this whole structure here. So when we go below this and we add something else, let's just say Vancouver, Canada, and let's just guess 3 million. I press Enter. It automatically will adjust. So all I have to do now is come in here. Let's change this. Let's just delete that. And now I will select this only one time. Control Shift down. Now it's giving me this kind of a strange name, but this is just the name for this area. Now it's a structured data table. I press Enter. Now it finds it. I drag this down, and it finds everything we want. I could even come in here and type in something new. Let's type in Winnipeg, Canada, and let's say Winnipeg has, I don't know, 2 million people. and the range automatically updated. So it's a dynamic kind of thing where whenever you type in something new here below, it will automatically update. So now I'm going to type in this cell because this VLOOKUP is saying find whatever is in cell G4. Doesn't matter. Whatever is there, it's going to look for it. Let's type in Winnipeg, and it automatically finds that 2 million. Now these ones aren't working. Why is that? Well, we're still using this hard-coded reference to that area, and you notice how it stops on row 38. So we'd have to come in here. These ones are different, right? We'd have to change them, backspace, and type in 42, or I could even say let's just go to 45 because I'm going to add some more data. Hit enter. I drag this down, and I drag it to the right. And of course now, because this is a 2, this goes back to our column reference. Comments is in the 4th column. City is 1, country is 2, population is 3, comments is 4. So I have to type in a 4 right there. Press enter. And this 0 actually means it doesn't find anything. So we'll just drag this down. And here we go. So let's go to Winnipeg. Type in winter. If you like winter sports, a great place to be. And for Toronto, we will type in the Blue Jays because they just signed a whole bunch of new players and they're supposed to have a great year. So here we go. So we look for Toronto, we find the Blue Jays. Barcelona, we're getting fun. Winnipeg, we get winter. Or we could even say the Winnipeg Jets, the hockey team. And there it is, instantly. So this table is another way that you can do it to make this automatically stretch down every time. And when we put in that little reference, we select it the first time, we don't have to do it anymore. We don't have to change it ever again as long as we're adding values directly below. I mean, you could even, right here, let me just click this. See that little symbol in the bottom right? I could force this down manually, and it's already waiting for me to type in data, or just type in something right there. So, a couple of things that we looked at. Column index number, clarify what that means. The third parameter here just has to be a number or a reference to a cell that has a number. And then if we want to get around the table array, make it a little bit easier, we have two options. The named range, or this whole table thing. So I'll go into this in another video. This is a table. We created one. There's a special toolbar, and it has some features. You may or may not like it.